Okay, I guess we got a children's sermon. We have any children in here? You want to bring your mom and dad, sister, brother, uncle up? You can. Can you guys come up here on the first step right here? Then I won't have to go down here. You can sit down. Okay. I'm going to read your mom and dad and everybody a story today. And it's about a leaf. You take a look at those. You agree it's a leaf? Huh? You agree that's a leaf? A bunch of leaves. Tell me about it. Tell me something about what they look like. Do what? Don't be afraid. You don't know. How about color? What color is it? It's green. Okay. And they're all different shapes and sizes, right? Yeah. How do you think they get green? Can you say it real loud? Photosynthesis. Right. And it comes right up the stem. Every time a leaf comes off, it leaves a scar. So you know how old it is. I'm going to tell you how to make it, how you can tell that. But inside each one of those leaves are like a little factory. It makes sap, it makes water go up and down, and after a while, in the fall, they turn color and fall. And then next year, another one comes. But you can see they're different sizes and different shapes. The back side, they're not working today, but the green side is what really works. And she just told you what they do. And when you get high school, you'll be plucking these or elementary school. But today, I got something to give you, and has something to do with leaves. And I want you to take this, take it home. We'll give you one. You just pass down here. You're going to turn here. Okay, this is a part of the leaf process. In order to get food to that leaf, it has to go up the trunk of the tree. And the trunk of the tree tells you how old it is. So if you count those little rings on, can you see rings on here? Yeah, every year it leaves a ring. You can tell how old this is. You want to count those rings and tell me? They're hard to see sometimes. You got 9? Okay, got 8, 9, and we have a tiebreaker right now. It looks like 9 or 10 for sure, and you can tell that by counting those. Every time a tree gets a little bigger, it leaves a ring on it. We have an apple tree in our property right out here by the bank, and it's dying. And so when they saw it down, I'm going to try to get a piece of the stump to see how old it was, and it was been here a long time, back when the church was a new church. But this is what is left on that tree. This was one that was 9 years old, and it got disease and died, and so now you can take it back and count those. They're called annual growth rings. That means a lot, I'm sure. Okay, you want a couple samples to go with you? Yeah, you can take 2. You want 2? Yeah, I think by chance I got that many. That tree was long. There you go. Oh, that's okay, won't hurt you. I did this once and the kid tried to eat it. He thought it was a cookie. Okay, and we got something made out of wood. It's a stick that holds something on the end you can eat. Okay, if I get it open here. What color you want? Name me a color. Okay. Brown. Yeah, I got brown. Here's one. They only put 1 brown or 2 brown in the sack of these. The people love them so much. What would you like? Yellow, orange? Yellow. Yeah, got it. Get it out here. I'll say a little prayer, okay? Dear God, I'm glad these young people came up here this morning to take a look at some of your things that you provide for us, the trees, the leaves, and especially the boys and girls and the people here today. We thank you and we bless you, and we would like to do your honor here today. Okay, thank you. Amen. Here's probably, think to yourself, when is the last time you had somebody sit and read a story to you? And I get the Wall Street Journal, and I used to think it was all stocks and bonds and all economy and things like that. They have a lot of articles in it. 3 weeks ago, they were pushing parents to sit down in the evening with their child every night and read a story. A short story, a continuous story. One that they could look forward to the next night. And they were pushing that. Then last week they came out and said that let's make sure reading is brought back into the schools. And so I thought, well, that's good, because I'm going to be talking about that. This story I'm going to read to you is called The Fall of Freddie the Leaf. And it's a story that has a lot of meanings. In fact, it's a parable. But anyway, this story will kind of bring some memories back to you when somebody sat down and read to you, because it's kind of a loose thing. As a teacher, I always read to my kids a story that connected me and then they with some topic we were talking about, and got them to think about it. And they look forward to it. Then I said, well, little kids like it, big kids all like it too. You know, you might think, oh yeah, sure, they like to hear somebody read. They do. They may be restless when they start out, but when they get caught up in that story, it really means a lot to them. And they look forward to it. And Mr. Redifer, will you read the story today? You know, that's kind of a deal. So everybody likes to be read to. So I want you to just kind of relax and listen to me read and kind of picture yourself. I want you to, the hero, or the person in the story, is called Freddie. And you might want to insert your name. The Fall of Dickie, whatever you want to use. But just stop and think, because it has some meaning in it, and you have to kind of subtly get it. Now, what's a parable anyway? And most of you will know that because Jesus taught. That was his style of teaching, using a parable. And I can just picture him on a beach someplace with a stick, talking and doing something in the sand, something like that, and talking about everyday things that happened to them. Not the Pharisees, not the Sadducees, because they all stuck to the law. They didn't jump around. But Jesus took life experiences and put them in a parable, a story, and it's much like when Pete tells you a joke, okay? He got that joke, and he has to kind of set it up before he says it. And I'll tell you one, and this is kind of corny, but anyway, a guy's in a bar, and he sees a guy come in pulling a chain, big chain. So the next day he comes in pulling the chain again. Third time he comes in, the bartender goes over and says, why are you pulling the chain in here? And the answer was, you ever try pushing one? Anyway, that's the kind of story we're going to talk about. Some scene. If I'm going to talk to Lyle, I'm not going to talk about technology on a computer. I'm going to talk to him about farming. If I talk to a nurse, I'm going to talk to her about something medically that she can relate to. As a teacher, you would find something that kids relate to, and you talk to them on that level. And Jesus did that. He talked to fishermen, he talked to carpenters, he talked at weddings, he talked to the parable of the open door, and different. Prodigal son is a good example. And he had 46 recorded parables in the Bible, 46. And they were all recorded by Matthew, Mark, and Luke. They listened to them, they copied them down. there were probably a lot of stories that they did not copy. They forgot. But they had 46, and only 4 of them had any reference to God or religion. They were all down to earth. Farmers, carpenters, you name it. So parables are pretty important. In this story, I want you to get a couple things on the purpose of this parable, the reason for doing it, and that brings up something. How come you picked that story, Dick? Well, hey, it goes back 20 years ago. I was at a conference in Saginaw, and we had a special person come in and talk to us about reading. There were probably 300 or 400 people there. And this is what he read this book to us. I thought, oh boy, this is going to be a long meeting. I tell you, it stuck with me for about 25 years because this book came out in '83. And I thought, someday I'm going to talk to other people, and maybe they'll get the same feeling I did about how Jesus works, and all of us have a purpose here. And so I got my chance. Beth said, how would you like to do a sermon, Dick? Oh, great. When did I do it? So here you get the benefit of that right today. I'll be reading it to you. But anyway, I heard that, and I thought I'd pass it on to you because it has a lot of meaning to it. And as you read it, and like I said, it's all about Freddie, the leaf, the last leaf, the fall, and the scripture leads us to that too. So the parable is a story within a story. And it doesn't have to be biblically related. It can be any kind of a story that, and you probably think of some stories that kind of have a hidden meaning in. And this is what this parable has for us here today. So I'm going to start with Freddie, and if you want to pretend you're Freddie, you can. When I opened the book up, my wife, Krista, went down and picked out Freddie down here in our bookshelf. We had 2 copies. And I'll just tell you what's written on the cover. Given in loving memory of Christopher Terran, by his kindergarten teacher and classmates, Mrs. Kathy Eddy. Mrs. Eddy, are you right here any place? Walt Eddy's wife, right back there. Great handwriter. Kathy Eddy's class of 8 students here, and one of them is Lori Beth Jones, Sally Jones's daughter. And then they named off the rest of the class, but she checked, Amy Terran, the sister, checked this out back in '87, and then I checked it out in '97, and today, 2015. But anyway, this book hasn't been really used a lot, but it's been around. Now, you might say, who's the author? Well, I'm not sure he was even a Christian man, but in his writings, you kind of get that kind of in between the idea. He is thinking about life after death. And it was written, this book was written to help parents when they have some young one taken away from them, and how to deal with death, because we're all going to die sometime, and we don't know when it is and anything about it. Probably just as well. But it's inevitable, just like these leaves. When they fall from the tree, they completed their work, they did their duty, and now they committed to the ground. But I want you to listen to this story, and I'll do my best to read it to you. It's not very long, so settle back and you close your eyes if you want to, and I'm going to read it. Fall of Freddie the Leaf. Spring had passed, so had the summer. Freddie had a leaf, had grown large. His midsection was wide and strong. He had 5 extensions and firm and pointed. He had first appeared in spring as a small sprout in a rather large tree branch near the top of a tall tree. Freddie was surrounded with hundreds of other leaves, just like himself, or so it seemed. Soon he discovered that no 2 leaves were alike, even though they were on the same tree. Alfred was a leaf next to him. Ben was a leaf on his right side. Clara was a lovely leaf overhead. They had grown up together. They had learned to dance in the spring breeze, bask in the lazy summer sun, and wash off with the cooling rain. But Daniel who was Fred's best friend, he was the largest leaf on the limb and seemed to have been there before anyone else. It appeared to Freddie that Daniel was also the wisest among them. It was Daniel who told them that they were part of a tree. It was Daniel who explained that they were growing in a public park. It was Daniel who told them that the tree had strong roots which were hidden in the ground below. He explained about the birds who came and sat on the branch and sang in the morning songs. He explained about the sun, the moon, and stars and seasons. Freddie loved being a leaf. He loved his branch, the light leafy friends, the place high in the sky, the wind that jostled him about, the sun rays that warmed him, the moon that covered him with his soft white shadows. Summer had been especially nice. The long hot days felt good. The warm nights were peaceful and dreamy. There were many people in the park that summer. They often came and sat under Freddie's tree. Daniel told them that giving shade was part of his purpose. What's a purpose? Freddie asked. A reason for being. Daniel had answered. To make things more pleasant for others is a reason for helping. Be sure to make the shade for the old people who come to escape the heat of their homes is a reason for being. To provide a cool place for children to come and play. To fan our leaves on the picnickers who came to eat on checkered tablecloths. These are all reasons for being. Freddie especially liked the old people. They sat quietly on the cool grass, hardly ever moved, and talked with whispers long ago. The children were fun too, even though sometimes they tore holes in the bark of the tree, sometimes even carved names into it. Still, it was fun to watch them move around so fast, to laugh so much. But Freddie's summer soon passed. It vanished on an October night. He had never felt it so cold. All the leaves shivered with cold. They were coated with a thin layer of white, which quickly melted and left the dew drenched and sparkling in the morning sun. Again, it was Daniel who explained that they were experiencing their first frost, the sign that fall and winter would be coming. Almost at once, the whole tree, in fact, the whole park, was transformed into a blaze of color. It was hardly a green leaf left. Freddie had turned yellow, Ben had become bright orange, Claire had become a blazing red, Daniel was deep purple, and Freddie was red, gold, and blue. How beautiful they looked. Freddie and his friends had made a tree a rainbow. Why did we turn different colors? Freddie asked. When we are on the same tree. Each of us are different. We have had different experiences. We have faced the sun differently. We have cast shade differently. Why should we not be different colors? Daniel said, matter of fact. Daniel told Freddie that this wonderful season was called fall. One day, a very strange thing happened. The same breezes that in the past had made them dance began to push and pull at the stems, almost as if they were angry. This caused some of the leaves to be torn from their branches and swept up in the wind, tossed about and dropped softly to the ground. All the leaves became frightened. What's happening? They asked each other in whispers. It's what happens in the fall, Daniel told them. It's a time for leaves to change their home. Some people call it to die. Will we all die? Freddie asked. Yes, Daniel answered. Everything dies, no matter how big or how small, how weak or strong. We first do our job, we experience the sun, the moon, the wind, and the rain. And we learn to dance and to laugh. Then we die. I won't die, said Freddie with determination. Will you, Daniel? Yes, answered Daniel, when it's my time. When is that? Ask Freddie. No one else knows for sure, Daniel responded. Freddie noticed that the other leaves continued to fall. He thought, it must be their time. He saw that some leaves lashed back at the wind before they fell. Others just simply let go and dropped quietly. Soon the tree was almost bare. I'm afraid to die, Freddie told Daniel. I don't know what's down there. We all fear what we don't know, Freddie. It's natural. Daniel reassured him. Yet you are not afraid when spring became summer. You are not afraid when summer became fall. They were all natural changes. Why should you be afraid of the season of death? Does a tree die too? Freddie asked. Someday, but sometime stronger than a tree, it is life, and that lasts forever, and we are still all a part of life. Where will we go when we die? No one knows for sure. That's a great mystery. Will we return in the spring? We may not, but life will. Then what has been the reason for all this? Freddie continued to question. Why were we here if we were to have to fall and die? Daniel answered in a matter-of-fact way. It's been about the sun, the moon. It's been about happy times together. It's been about shade and the old people and the children. It's been about colors in the fall. It's been about seasons. Isn't that enough? That afternoon, the golden light of dusk, Daniel let go. He fell effortlessly. He seemed to smile peacefully as he fell. Goodbye for now, Freddie, he said. Then Freddie was alone, the only leaf left on the branch. The first snow fell following morning. It was soft, white, and gentle, but it was bitter cold. There was hardly any sun in the sky. The day was very short. Freddie found himself losing his color, becoming brittle. It was constantly cold, and the snow weighed heavily upon him. At dawn, the wind came up, took Freddie from his branch, and didn't hurt at all. He felt himself float quietly, gently, and softly downward. As he fell, he saw the whole tree for the first time. How strong, how firm it was. He was sure it would live for a long time, and he knew that he had been part of that life, and it made him proud. Freddie landed in a clump of snow. Somehow felt soft, even warm. In this new position, he was more comfortable than he had ever been. He closed his eyes, fell asleep. He did not know that spring would follow winter, and that the snow would melt into water. He did not know that what appeared to be useless dried self would join with water and serve to make the tree stronger. Most of all, he did not know that there, asleep in the tree, under the ground, are already plans for the new leaves to begin. And then it starts over the beginning. So that hopefully gave you a little food for thought on a parable, on comparing nature with us humans. And it's something I think, something you might get something out of this that I got out of it. And I guess it's time for us to get ready to go. Unless somebody, anybody want to comment on it? Doesn't cost anything. Did you see yourself in that story? You should have recognized some of the things in there.